interview show. So for my very first guest is this incredible actress known by the name of Laura Van York. She played the role of Death in Haunted City number 1, 2, and 3. This original fan film series. So I'm about to give Laura an ad into the live now and have a chat with Laura.
That's better.
Hello,
Hello.
Laura. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
Yeah, really good, thanks. Thank you for coming on to my show, by the way. It means a lot.
No problem.
What I'm going to get you to do, Laura, if you can, I'm going to get you to introduce yourself as a person and explain a bit about what you do, and then I'll dive right into the questions.
Okay.
So if you want to go now, feel free.
Okay. So I'm Laura. I'm an actress and model originally from Belgium, and right now I'm living in North Hollywood. Um, well, what I'm doing right now, not much because most of my projects are on hold, but I'm still doing photo shoots, like social distance photo shoots and remote shows. So I'm trying to stay busy, however I can.
Awesome. So we'll dive right into the questions now, Laura. So with my very first question, you were actually in this incredible original series called Haunted City, and you played the role of Death in number 1, 2, and 3. What was that experience like, getting to play the role of Death in Haunted City?
Um, so the thing is, with a character like Death, you don't really know. I mean, I've never seen Death, so it's like it's hard to prepare because when you, for example, have to play like, let's say, like the girl next door, the girlfriend, or the nurse, the police officer, it's like you know what these people are like, kind of, because you've seen them around or you've seen them in series or something. I mean, you can build a life, but for Death, it's like you have to use your imagination. So I try to just think like a female Death. What would that be like? And by just talking to the director and coming up with ideas, like for example, I thought Death would be really cold and reserved, and the director wanted her to be really classy and eloquent. So it was really nice to just build a character from complete scratch. It was really fun, and the set experience, just the people to work with, and Chris, the director, it was great. I had a lot of fun.
Awesome. So on to my next question about Haunted City. So what was your favorite memorable moment or scene to shoot as the role of Death?
Um, there are a lot of fun moments. One of the smaller ones was for a certain scene we needed a car. And we used my car, and since it was a manual car, I was the one that had to drive it, so I kind of felt, I don't know, it was stupid, but I kind of felt good about it, like, oh wow, I'm stunting right now. Like it was funny. And there was also a moment, it's probably not as funny when I'm telling it, but at that moment it was hilarious. So the actor that was playing the character of Charon, so the person who is leading the ghosts and souls to the underworld. So it's the scene where the main character is going to save her mom from hell, um, and as Death, I'm leading her there. I'm giving her to Charon, and I'm telling him like, take care of her or something. I don't really remember what it was. And there was a line that he had to say. It was something like, very well, I will, or something. And he said like, I will, Death, or very well, Death. And it was really fun because my name is never really spoken about in the series. I mean, you kind of know that I'm Death, but it's never said. It was hilarious the way he said it. It was really funny. So I think that's my favorite moment of the three series. And then there is a moment in the scene where I'm appearing as Death because my, I would say, Jane, so the ghost, she's working for me, and she's having a fight with a phantom. So it's a creature in the series, and I'm intervening because she's attacking Jane. The moment I'm appearing, I'm just shouting like, enough, and it felt really powerful. I mean, Death is a powerful character, so I really like playing her. but that moment it was like, oh, I'm leading this moment, and I really like that one. So I would say that's my favorite one.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. You were actually in this incredible fan film called The Many Deaths of John Wick, and you actually played the character of Death again in The Many Deaths of John Wick. What was that experience like, getting to be in this incredible other fan film of John Wick?
Well, it was actually the first film that we did with the character of Death, so that was my introduction to it. I would say it was the same kind of preparation as I did Haunted City because it's a different story, but it's basically the same character that the director chooses to use in this movie. So, same thing. It was just much smaller and shorter since most of the movie is the fight scenes of John Wick with his enemies, and then the moment when he meets Death, it's just a table conversation. So we filmed it in a way that it looks in the movie, it looks as if we're sitting across from each other on the table. Basically, it was only one side of the table, so we just filmed my part first in the same seat, and then his part in the same seat. But it looks like it's opposite, so that was fun. Um, it's I can't say much more about it since it was basically the same as Haunted City. It was the same thing. It was just a different story, I would say, different actor, but yeah, it was the same thing, and it was funny because we had a lot of noise problems, so we needed to stop a lot. And but for the rest, it was really short and intense, and yeah, it was fun.
Awesome. So on to my very next question about The Many Deaths of John Wick. What was your favorite scene to shoot in that, in The Many Deaths of John Wick?
Since there was basically only one long scene where I was in, I would say my favorite moment of that scene is where I lash out to him. So I'm always like, Death is always calm and cold, and she has sympathy, she's kind. But there is a moment when he starts asking about something that I don't like. The thing is that his wife died, and so that's supposed to be my fault because I'm dead. So I lash out at him like, John, it happens, blah blah, and I really like that. It was a lot of dialogue that I could play with and go calm, go loud, go back to calm, and that one moment, I think that was my favorite one.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So you were actually in a barren state, and you actually played the role of Lena. What was that experience like, getting to be in a barren state and getting to play this character called Lena?
Well, that movie I think was the most difficult for me. It's full of intense scenes and like I'm killing people, I'm giving birth in a bathtub, I'm pregnant the entire movie. It was hard to prepare. It was intense, and so From a Barren State it's about this girl. She's homeless and pregnant, and she's about to go into labor. She's like very pregnant. That already was hard for me to play because I've never been pregnant. I don't know what it's like. Luckily, there was a one of the actors on set was a mom, so she could kind of explain to me how it was, like how you walk with like a big belly and how you give birth and how you hold yourself and all of that. But so it's about this older couple that takes me in, offers me a place to stay, but is planning to steal my baby because they can't have children. So it starts out like with a lot of tension, but then it goes completely insane. Like I want to run away, but I'm suddenly into labor, and I jump in the bathtub, and just that giving birth, that was very, that was hard. Also because we had to re-record the sound because there was something wrong with the sound. So I basically had to re-record the entire giving birth and the entire labor. So it was really weird to just make birth noises without actually doing the scene. It was just awkward, and it came out really well. So I'm really proud of it. As every actor would be proud of doing a difficult scene, I would say. Um, Then what else? Oh, my favorite moment was when we did the rehearsals and I had to rehearse the bathtub scene. So I was doing my birth, and the owner of the location, he thought actually something was happening, so he came to look like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" It's just like we're just rehearsing. So that was hilarious. Yeah. For the rest, it was really. We went to the desert to shoot my opening scene. We went to the location for 3 days to shoot all the rest, and great crew, great director. It was a lot of fun, although it was hard. I would say this movie had everything in it that an actor fears. Like it's killing, intense emotion, giving birth. I had to cry on cue. Like everything was there. Yeah, that was great.
Well, I actually, to let you know, I actually watched it this week before this interview.
Oh, that's nice.
Barren State was incredible, and you were actually really incredible in the film. So, applaud to you with your amazing performance, because you did really incredible. So, you should be really proud of yourself.
Thank you.
So good. So on to my very next question. You were actually in this music video of Joseph Bishop. I
Yeah.
hopefully pronounced that right. What was that experience like, getting to be in a music video?
So I've known Joseph Bishara for a while. He made like I'm in this theater, also where we filmed the music video. It's Zombie Joe's Underground Theater Group, and he made the music scores for some of our shows. So I've known him personally before, but I never worked with him. So that was like my first time working with him, and I'm a big fan of him. He did the music for The Conjuring and Insidious. He played some of the. He played the witch in The Conjuring and also the demon. So that's like my thing. So I'm a big fan of him. So just finally getting to work with him as a director was awesome. The experience itself was pretty short. So we filmed. It was a 10-minute scene of me sitting in a meditation pose, and they played the music, and they just filmed me sitting there, and they projected this spider web thing onto me. So it looks really dope, but it was quite simple to do. It was just very relaxing. Like the whole experience was just very nice and relaxing. And above that, just to work with Joseph Bishara, that was like my, I would say my greatest achievement. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love how you mentioned how Joseph actually worked on The Conjuring, because I actually this year during COVID, of course, I actually did a interview with Lauren Spanio, who was actually in The Conjuring films. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know that.
Oh, it's great.
That was so incredible how you mentioned that Joseph was actually in The Conjuring. So yeah, that was cool. Thank you for letting me know that info. So on to my very next question. Who inspired you as a person to get into acting in the first place?
So that's a hard question because I kind of got into acting because I loved creating characters. I loved storytelling since I was very, very small. So I would say I kind of just got into that because I felt a drive to do it. But if I have to name someone, I think it would be Trisha Helfer. She's an actress from I've known her first in Battlestar Galactica, a series that I used to watch with my dad. I loved her so much. I was obsessed with her when I was like 13, 14. She plays the role of the Cylon number 6, and that just I was just obsessed with her. So I would say her, and then also I guess Nina Dobrev from The Vampire Diaries, because she was so pretty and I really liked her. Yeah, I'm gonna settle on Trisha Helfer. I think she really got me into like I want to do that.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. What have you learned about yourself as a person during COVID this year?
Oh, I love that question. So I thought I was a real introvert and I love being alone. So I thought, I can handle this. That's gonna be fine. But I couldn't, because I learned that I really like being busy. Um, and I just don't like sitting at home because I feel when I sit at home, I don't do as much work as I want to. And when I'm out, even when I'm just sitting at a restaurant or a cafe working, I mean, I'm still alone. Like I'm still introverting, but I'm in another place, another environment, and there are people around. It makes me want to do my work or do stuff. It gives me a motivation to do stuff. So I definitely need that in order to be healthy and sane. I also learned that I absolutely hate that all my work is on hold right now. I mean, there's still some things I can do when it's a long distance, but it's not enough. I like working all the time, being busy, new projects, going to places, seeing people. So maybe I'm just not the kind of introvert that I thought I was. So that's something I've learned about myself.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. If you could be in any TV or movie franchise, what would it be and why?
Um, well, my first go-tos are definitely things like American Horror Story, Vampire Diaries, because, you know, black hair, pale skin, I get cast as a vampire or a witch or a demon all the time. I also like watching those characters, so it's only logical that I would love to play those because I feel like I fit in there. Also, I like sci-fi, I like action, and if I could ever play a Russian spy, I would love that. Because of my accent, I get mistaken for a Russian all the time. Uh, yeah, I think I like to play what I like to see. Uh, Also, period pieces or things like Penny Dreadful, you know, where it's the horror element, the fantasy element, and also the period piece element. Things that are as far from reality as possible. I mean, every character is fictional, but there are characters that are more fantasy that don't really exist. So definitely that.
Awesome. So I have to ask, by the way, because you keep on mentioning the Vampire Diaries, and it was such a great series, by the way. I have to actually ask, who was your favorite Diary brother and why?
Um, Again, I would say Nina Dobrev because I used to be obsessed with her. She's pretty, she's a good actress, and you know the series revolves around her, so it's she's like the lead character. Just the idea of having your own series, you know, that's great. Um, I liked the character of Damon, Ian Somerhalder. I guess every girl liked him. So why he's interesting and he's kind of provocative and sexy in a way. So, I mean, I would say that's what every girl said. But yeah, I liked him very much. But still, Nina Dobrev is my favorite.
Awesome. So on to my very next question. So what are the positives and negatives into the acting industry, and how do you get through those negatives as a person?
Um, the the positives is definitely the variety. For example, you get, of course, different characters every time. You get different locations every time, different set experiences, different people to work with, and I really need that variety in my life. I like the idea of tomorrow I can be here, next day I could be there. Am I gonna get the job or not? I guess that's also a negative, you know, the instability, which I like for a part, but also sometimes it's like, oh, I didn't get the job, which brings me to the most negative thing in acting, I guess, is the rejection. You're gonna get rejected most of the time, and a way to get through that is just either get used to it. You know that going into acting, I knew that like it's gonna be hard. You have to work your way up and be rejected most of the time. You have to think like I showed what I got. I showed them, you know, my take on the character. I showed them my talent. Now it's up to them. If I don't fit, I don't fit. And it makes you feel better because it's not your fault when you don't get chosen. Um, Another negative is maybe the stress for an audition or something. Like you kind of, you're nervous because it's a performance and you get through that also just you get used to that. I don't think I'm still that stressed out when I do a new audition. So it's just do it as much as you can, do things that scare you, and you'll get more comfortable and more used to it. Same with rejection. It's gonna happen. There's just nothing to do about it. But for me, the positives really outweigh the negatives in acting. So I guess I'm good.
Awesome. So on to my very last question, Laura. So with my last question, what new projects do you have installed after COVID that you would like to announce on the show, if there's any projects that you would like to announce?
Unfortunately, most of my projects are on hold right now. I'm having 2 features planned that I can't really go into detail, but they're on hold. So I'm also cast for a Star Wars short film. It's still on hold right now. They're still doing the preparation, but it will definitely happen very soon. It's something I'm really excited for because my dad is crazy about Star Wars, so he would be very proud of me. I'm also having a witch movie planned, a short film where we'll be playing a witch, which is great for me because, you know, typecasting. And I recently filmed a short film, I would say, more like a fan film. It's a fan film from the Silver Surfer, Marvel. It's not really a movie. It's more like a comic with voiceover, but in a movie, if that makes any sense. It's also with the director from Haunted City and The Many Deaths of John Wick. So, as always, nice to work with him. And I've been working on a remote experience for Count's Den, which is a place in downtown LA where we do live immersive shows. We are this vampire family, and I'm like mostly playing different characters, so I'm like an add-on character. But since, you know, it's COVID and we can't do any close contact with people, we filmed this multiple choice movie. So it's short parts that we filmed, and people can pick choices. So it starts the next movie depending on what they pick and leads on to a choice they kind of made. We also did live interactions as the characters, and it was fun because it gave me something to work on, even though we can't do our usual project. So that's basically everything I'm working on right now.
Awesome. So can I just say thank you so much again, Laura, for appearing on my show. It means so
No problem.
Everyone, definitely go give Laura the amazing and incredible support. She's one incredible actress and very talented, so definitely go support Laura. Any last final thoughts or anything that you would like to say to people on the show?
Thank you so much for watching. It was really nice to do my first live interview and talk about my projects and everything. Thank you for listening.
Hello, John.
Where am I?
Nowhere you need to worry about. I rarely ever do this, but I felt it necessary we finally speak.
Do I know you?
More than most, I would wager.
Am I dead?
Not quite.
Then what am I doing here?
Relax, John. You're in no danger. You've been very good to me over the years. I felt it only appropriate to return the favor. Especially on today of all days.
Today.
It's your birthday, John. Did you forget?
You'll forgive me, but I haven't had much to celebrate lately.
Well, that is where we must agree to disagree.
You took my wife.
Don't get sidetracked.
I was out.
It wasn't my choice.
I was happy!
Life happens, John!